I'm Christian Yelich of the Milwaukee Brewers. Welcome to the Dick's Sporting Goods Pony League World Series. In 2006, I was where all of you were, playing for Simi Valley, California, and leading off. Some of the best memories I have playing baseball are where you guys are today. I have a lot of great friends and was actually fortunate enough to play with somebody from the Puerto Rico team the year we were there in the big leagues, Alex Claudio. So you never know who you're going to play with down the road. It could be you guys one day, but enjoy the game, best of luck, and have a bunch of fun.
It's another beautiful afternoon in Washington, Pennsylvania, as we take you high atop Lou Hayes Pony Field. We're getting all set for game number 15 of the 2022 Dick's Sporting Goods Pony League World Series. Good afternoon, I'm Joe Percato. Thanks for joining us. The matchup we'll bring you now is a rematch of a contest we saw last night between Chinese Taipei and Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Johnstown won an exciting contest by the final of 4-2, which has put them one win away from advancing to the championship game tomorrow night. So that caused a tougher road for Chinese Taipei, having to win elimination games, but they did just that earlier today with a 12-0 victory over Bay County, Michigan. That game in just 5 innings. Chinese Taipei racked up 13 hits, including that home run you just saw from Yang Wen-wei. Johnstown, Pennsylvania, as I said, a 4-2 victory over Chinese Taipei last night, which has put them on the brink of advancing to the championship. And they got a pair of home runs. Dante LaRocco leading things off for Johnstown with a solo shot, and Drew Irons later added a solo shot for him as well. Irons went 6 2/3 on the mound, allowing just a pair of unearned runs. So the stage is set. We'll take you upstairs to the gentlemen calling the action, Lanny Fratteri and Ernie Galuski.
And the stage has been set well, Joe. Thank you very much. It's important to point out, and we don't want to take anything away from Johnstown, it was an upset of Chinese Taipei. The Chinese Taipei team did not play fundamentally sound in the loss to Johnstown, and we've expected them to do a better job of that, and they returned to form in the win over Bay County earlier today.
Yeah, and the key word there, expected. You expect Chinese Taipei to come here and be very fundamentally sound, and last night they were not. They made some mistakes, but you have to give Johnstown credit for that. They played extremely well, and they forced the issue. But it sets the stage tonight for a game of really, really high stakes. Johnstown, an opportunity to go to their first ever Pony League World Series game, and Chinese Taipei trying not to be the team that didn't get it done here in Washington, PA.
And one other key point to remember, if Chinese Taipei wins tonight, there will be an extra game played tomorrow. Back in a moment with the start of the game.
Oh yeah, been waiting for this one.
Jumpstart the season with a bit of fresh air. Whether you like to walk, run, hike, bike, or boat, you'll find that Washington County is connected by trails. Plan a day on one of the nation's outstanding rail trails with a trip on the Montour, Panhandle, or National Pike Trail. Grab a paddle and navigate the scenic Mon River and surrounding small-town charm. We'll see you at the trailhead. Plan your trip today at washcotrails.com.
Chinese Taipei facing elimination for the second time today. Johnstown looking to secure a spot in the championship. The players are on the field. We'll send it upstairs to public address announcer Bob Gregg.
In this game, New Taipei City, Taiwan is the visiting team. Johnstown will be the home team. Let's meet the two lineups. For New Taipei City, leading off and pitching, number 10, Hong Wei-jia. Batting in second, the shortstop, number 3, Lin Jin-hong. Batting third and playing left field, number 7, Lee Chong-yen. Batting fourth, playing first base, number 15, Shi Chung-yu. Batting fifth and catching, number 2, Sun Kai-yu. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 1, Yang Wen-wei. Batting seventh and playing second base, number 4, Gao Chiu Sheng-hong. Batting eighth, playing third base, number 12, Meng Liao Xiaoji. Batting ninth and playing center field, number 9, Chang Xiaochun. Number 5, Cao Yiming. Number 6, Lu Guanwei. Number 8, Chen Chong Hao. Number 11, Pan Ting Hao. Number 14, Cao Chong Wei. The coaches, Yang Min Hung, Chu Yao Yu, Su Wei Chie. Asia Pacific Zone champion, New Taipei City, Taiwan. And now the host area champions from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Leading off, the center fielder, number 5, Dante LaRocco. Batting second and playing shortstop, number 11, Charlie Manzi. Pitching and batting third, number 18, Brock Bryson. Batting fourth, second baseman, number 29, Eric McAllister. Batting fifth, playing third base, number 50, Bryce Goodman. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 9, Drew Irons. Batting seventh and catching, number 37, Ethan Shank. Batting eighth, first baseman, number 23, Liam O'Donnell. Batting ninth and playing right field, number 7, Grady Clark. Number 3, Austin Shaw. Number 10, Alex McCartney. Number 20, Brady Gartner. Number 22, Brennan Lohr. Number 24, Brody Malott. Number 32, Eric Redkowski. Coach Dom Cannizzaro. Coach Jim Bryson. Manager Bugsy Roberts. Host area champion, Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Umpiring at home plate, Fran Nawadley. At first base, Joe Palazzo. At second base, J.C. Cobell. At third base, Chris Stevens. Our decisions committee, Lenny Lynch, Terry Faust, Tom O'Connor.
Please rise for the Pony Prayer and the National Anthems. Gentlemen and boys, please remove your caps. Thank you to all veterans and active duty members of the United States Armed Forces for your service. We invite you to render a hand salute during the Star-Spangled Banner. Almighty God, help us to realize that we are gathered here to watch young people play baseball, not to second-guess strategy, dispute decisions, or question ability. That we are here to cheer, to encourage, to join in the fun that is baseball, not to jeer, discourage, or otherwise degrade the game. That while officials and players are expected to perform within the bounds of certain standards, we also, as spectators, are expected to conduct ourselves within the bounds of good sportsmanship. May this contest end without injury, without feelings of ill will, without disgrace, but as an activity worthy of thy blessing. Amen.
Chinese Taipei and Johnstown, Pennsylvania each have 2 wins in this tournament, but Chinese Taipei must win to force a decisive game tomorrow morning. Chinese Taipei and Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Game 15 coverage next.
To everyone still crushing it when it's this hot. To those making it happen in the heat. And especially to those who have to wear long sleeves right now. We've got a Dunkin' Iced just for you.
Trib Live High School Sports Network is the official video and audio streaming partner of the WPIAL. We broadcast over 2,000 sporting events each year and cover 17 sports in over 170 schools. At HSSN, you'll find the latest in high school sports news, live and archive broadcasts, scores, standings, and much more. Trib Live High School Sports Network, your high school sports leader. All season, every season.
We've been in your community since 1808. We've stood by your side covering the news of the day. We've been here for the important times in your life. We've celebrated with you. We're proud to have delivered the latest in local, regional, and national news in Washington, Greene, and southern Allegheny counties. We'll be here for the next phase of your life with our print and online editions. The Observer Reporter, life delivered daily.
Hi, I'm Dylan Radigan. The world is brimming with possibilities, and that keeps me busy. My latest invention may be able to feed and sustain communities around the world. My team and I are always on the go, meeting new people and seeing new places. I produce films that I really care about. It's an honor to speak to audiences around the world. When people come together, meaningful work gets done. How do I do all this? Well, that part's easy. Hotelplanner.com.
To everyone still crushing it when it's this hot. To those making it happen in the heat. And especially to those who have to wear long sleeves right now. We've got a Dunkin' Iced just for you.
Blue Hayes Pony Field, 250 down the lines, 285 to the power alleys, 305 feet to straightaway center field. The bases 80 feet apart, not 90. 54 feet from the rubber to home plate, not 60 feet, 6 inches. We have had an extremely comfortable day. A little bit of rain last night, but no delays through the first 14 games. On the mound for Johnstown, Brock Bryson. And Brock's dad is one of the coaches. Let's check that lineup again for New Taipei City. Hong Lin Lee, 1, 2, 3. Shi Soon Young in the middle 3 spots. Then Gao Shou, Meng, and Chong. Defensively behind Bryson. Irons in left, LaRocco in center, Clark in right, Goodman, Manzi left side, McAllister, O'Donnell right side, Shank catching. And Joe mentioned it, and it is important to mention it again, that Irons 6 2/3 innings to pick up the win for Johnstown over the New Taipei City team. We're underway, strike 1, and start at 5:47. Now the right-hander Bryson, 6'1", 210 pounds, and jumps out in front, no balls, 2 strikes. When New Taipei City won this morning 12-0, a 5-inning game. Run rule kicking into effect. And foul ball. The game this morning, and right off the bat, Hong Wei Jia had a double, and New Taipei City scored 4 runs in the first of the game this morning, 4 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth.
Boy, just missing right there for Brock Bryson. 4 pitches deep, 3 strikes, and then one just off the plate, very close to being called strike 3.
Bugsy Roberts, the manager. 1-2 pitch. Here at the ballpark, U.S. Military First Responders Night, and you can see that the field is decked out in tribute to our military and to those men and women who charge in and do what they can to help in the time of need. Ball fouled away. We got a red stripe up the first base line. Left stripe on the left field line. We got a blue stripe third base, red stripe first base, blue batter's box, red batter's box, white catching box. And McAllister can't come up with it, and then the ball kicked a bit past Clark. And just as he did in the game this morning, Hong ends up starting the game and gets to second base.
Boy, what an example of playing the game the right way. Hong has a great at-bat, 7 pitches, puts a ball in play. The play should be made, but he is hard out of the box. Watch this, never broke stride. Sees the ball kick, sees a kick into right field, never broke stride, and is able to get to second base, all the way to second base on a ground ball to the right side of the infield.
You know, Clark was trying to do the right thing and back up his second baseman, but turned out that because he was aggressive in coming in and the way the ball kicked, got away from him.
And Hong did a great job of just fouling off some pitches, staying in the box, not striking out, and he finally got a pitch he could barrel. He hit it hard, but right at the second baseman, McAllister. He's just not able to make the play, and again, the base running, just playing the game the right way, running bases hard. Hong able to get himself in a scoring position here in the top of the first.
And the pitch back to the screen. A wild pitch. You saw Lin go into a bunting stance in the game this morning against Bay County. Lin had 3 sacrifice bunts, 1 in each of the first 3 innings.
He's probably the happiest player in the world right now that there's a wild pitch there, and he may get to swing the bat today.
Middle infielders up halfway. And that pitch went behind Lin. Looking now, shortstop Manzi. Take a look at this pitch that almost caught the bat. Manzi is up 2/3 of the way. The shortstop. Two and one.
You just feel the momentum on this Chinese Taipei side here early in the game. We saw it immediately go to Johnstown last night with the big swing to lead the game off by Larocco.
Count 2-2. There were 2 home runs, as you saw in our opening of the telecast, including that bottom of the first home run by Larocco. Runner at third. Nobody out on the top of the first. The out at first, and a run scores. Manzi dials up O'Donnell. RBI for Lin.
Lin does his job there, puts the ball in play with 2 strikes. Ground ball in the infield, but it does the job, and it's able to drive in Hong from third for an early lead here for Chinese Taipei.
Lee Cheng-yin, who had 3 hits and 3 RBIs in the game this morning. Chinese Taipei's loss to Johnstown yesterday, without a doubt, an anomaly. Bouncer knocked down by Goodman near the line. And Goodman had time to throw the first 2 outs.
Nice job here by Goodman, just sticking with it. Doesn't glove it at the beginning, but he knocks it down, picks it up. Plenty of time on to first for the second out.
Shi Chang-yu. He had 3 hits this morning, 2 hits and a double. The loss suffered by Chinese Taipei yesterday snapped a 17-game winning streak in Washington County. The last time Chinese Taipei had lost a game in the Pony League World Series was the championship game of 2014. A loss to Hilo, Hawaii, 5-3. Strike outside corner.
It really is incredible if you think about it. They were able to win 17 consecutive games here at the pinnacle of Pony League Baseball, at the World Series.
Slapped the other way. Ball bobbled by left fielder Irons, but she makes the turn at first and holds on. In the game this morning, I mentioned he had 3 hits. And so it's been an extremely productive day for the first baseman, number 4 batter. Sun Kai-yu with a bow to the umpire. This new Taipei City player was hit by 2 pitches this morning. Bryson, runner going. Foul ball outside third.
How about that? Coach Bugsy Roberts out to the umpire to deliver some brand new baseballs.
These are the ones that he said to the umpire, these are the ones that have outs in them. And now 0-2.
Now really think about that. A long-standing baseball man like yourself, would you ever trust a baseball that the pitcher's coach brings out?
Well, at this level.
At this level, I'm saying. But
level,
could you imagine that at the big league level?
Runner going. Manzi called on again. In the first inning, Chinese Taipei 1 run, 1 hit. There was an error. Consequently, the run was unearned. 1 left. Chinese Taipei 1, Johnstown coming to bat.
Sean likes to help his teams on the field, but elbow and shoulder pain kept him on the sidelines. Treatment from AHN had him feeling like himself in a couple days. Now he's back, pitching in wherever he's needed. Getting back in the game is living proof.
One more time.
Come on, one more.
One more. Righty stance.
Yeah!
2, 1.
One more, man.
Oh, man. All right, little bro.
Want more?
And Chinese Taipei has the 1-0 lead with Hong Wei-jia on the mound. And getting ready to face this Johnstown batting order, Dante LaRocco, followed by Charlie Manzi, Brock Bryson, McAllister, Goodman, Irons, Shank, O'Donnell, and Clark. And behind the right-hander, Lee, Chung, and Young. In the outfield, left to right, Meng and Lin on the third base side. Gao and Xi right side, soon catching. Chris Canizaro coaches third, one of the coaches. And Bugsy Roberts, the manager, coaches first. And a member of the coaching staff, Jim Bryson, and happy birthday to Jim. So in the game yesterday, LaRocco led off the bottom of the first with a home run.
It really set the tone for the rest of the game for Johnstown. Team that made 4 great plays defensively to end innings, and then you get the big home runs from LaRocco and Irons. Just a game of big plays for Johnstown.
Strike called. Here's a interesting note for you. There have been 9 home runs so far in the Pony League World Series in 2022. 6 of the 9 have been hit by players from the state of Pennsylvania. 3 from Washington County, 3 from Johnstown. Oh, 2.
It has been a light Pony League World Series as far as home runs go.
And time granted.
When you think a 4-2 Johnstown win last night, 2 solo home runs, both of which went right at the foul pole. LaRocco's right over the left field foul pole, and Irons actually hit the right field foul pole.
And the appeal and the ruling of the home plate umpire is sustained. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Tell you what, Laney, I'm impressed. The batter's boxes are holding up pretty good here. The red and the blue, I thought it might be something just for the first inning, but they're holding up.
1-2 pitch. Bouncer up the middle. And a leadoff single for LaRocco. You like to bunt early?
Depends on the situation, but I have.
Kind of team you have?
Yeah, what kind of team you have, and more than anything, what type of pitcher you have on the mound. If you know a guy, you have a scouting report or somebody you know, I mean, why not put your 3-hole hitter in a RBI situation early in the game? But typically, I guess more often than not, no, I wouldn't like to bunt in the first inning.
Charlie Manzi, his dad Bob is the Indiana County DA. During the Pirates' successful run of the early 90s, Jim Leland bunted Jay Bell a good number of times in the first inning. And when asked about it, Jim said, just because it appears you're playing for 1 run doesn't mean that's all you're going to get.
I agree 100%.
Well, when I tell you something about Jim Leland, you either better agree or you're not going to fighting.
Oh, I know that.
1 strike on Manzi.
One stat I would love to see. I would love to see in amateur baseball what percentage of innings teams score where they bunt a ball fair. And I would bet that that percentage is very high.
And fastball up and away, chased by Manzi. Let us state again, and we will do this quite frequently. If Johnstown wins, it advances to the championship game. If it loses this game, there will be an extra game tomorrow. It's a double elimination tournament, but with the exception of the championship game. strikeout. That's not to say that the team that loses the championship game is not suffering its second loss, but it is possible that the two teams that meet in the title game will do so undefeated.
You know, and I really like that format. I love having that true championship game.
Bryson hit a home run against Hagerstown and looks at a strike.
Hong-Wei Jia exclusively working on that outer half of the plate, and he's getting that call a few inches off the plate right now.
Runner at first, 1 out, 1-0 Chinese Taipei. Well, catcher soon didn't get down far enough. And that'll be a wild pitch, but over my years in baseball, I've run into some baseball people that believe that that's a pitch that catchers should, that's a pitch a catcher should block.
Yeah, and Soon thinks he should have blocked that as well. You saw his face as he was retrieving it back here at the backstop, and he just didn't get his glove down to the ground. You know, you drive that glove and hand into the ground almost like your fingers are forks and you're trying to stick the ground, and that way the ball can't get underneath of you. He just wasn't able to get the glove down, and the ball did not take a big hop and was able to scoot in between his feet to the backstop.
1-2. Well, for Hong-Wei Jia, first batter, he jumped out in front 0-2. Second batter 0-2. This time 1-2 on the number 3 hitter, Brock Bryson. Check swing and ruling held up.
Good call. That's been two checks there to first base in this inning, and I think both of them were the correct call. And you'll see here on the replay, maybe he did go a little different view from the side, but you got to give the catcher Soon a lot of credit for selling it, popping out of there, blocking the ball, and tagging the hitter, hoping to sell that call and get his team an out.
Fastball. Bryson the second out of the inning.
Just me, Leonard. That fastball have a little more on it than any other one he's thrown here early in this game.
Yes, indeed.
A lot of zip on that fastball to get the big strikeout.
Eric McAllister, the batter, 0 for 7 in the tournament, but has made 2 contributions on the mound. Ball 1. On Saturday, Johnstown beat Hagerstown 13-12 in 8 innings. A wild game, with Hagerstown coming back twice in that game, with late innings posting 5 in one inning and 5 in another. But in that game, McAllister was the winning pitcher. And McAllister came on with a tying run at the plate against new Chinese Taipei yesterday and got the save. Faced one batter, got the out to close it down. Runner at second, 2 outs, 1-0 in favor of new Taipei City. 2-1.
Good pitch there down in the zone. Great job by Soon receiving and presenting that fastball for a strike.
Foul ball to make it 2-2. There have been 2 teams from Pennsylvania that have won Pony League World Series championships. Monongahela in 1954, Washington 1955. Runner at second base, LaRocco. And the strikeout completed with the throw to first base. 3 strikeouts for Hung. And in the bottom of the first inning, Johnstown, no runs, 1 hit, 1 left on base. At the end of 1, Chinese Taipei 1, Johnstown nothing.
George, we're all back in the office. You need to come back in too.
Yeah? No.
You can't even get your webcam right. You have to come back in.
Why should I? Washington Financial Bank's digital features make it even easier to bank anywhere.
Washington Financial Bank is adding more digital features. Log in to live chats, mortgage pre-qualification, and easy access to many features via QR codes.
Are we done here? It's almost happy hour and the hot tub is calling.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
Little did we know that switching to Cricket was going to be a major upgrade. The 5G is like fast.
Switch for the speed, stay for the savings. Smile, you're on Cricket.
The Dick's Sporting Goods Pony League World Series is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, by the Washington County Tourism Promotion Agency, and by the Observer Publishing Company.
Players from both of these teams in Johnstown, Pennsylvania and Chinese Taipei have hit home runs so far in this Pony League World Series. Christian Yelich, the 2018 NL MVP, did the same in 2006 in a semifinal game for Simi Valley, California.
Yeah, I remember it. I actually definitely remember it. I think it was like center field, maybe like a little bit to right center. I don't remember a whole lot else about the game, but I actually do remember. I do remember the homer. I remember we won. I think the first game we played in was a lot closer than the second game. But yeah, a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun, and it went by really fast.
Yong Wei.
Yelich's team advanced to the championship game before falling in the final 4-2.
Sorry there, Joe, if I stepped on you. Young Wei, 4 for 9 in the tournament. He has a home run, hit the home run. He has a 2-run home run that he hit in the game this morning. Fouled away, had 4 RBIs in the game earlier today. An unearned run for new Taipei City in the opening frame. And a base hit into left center field. And now Young is 5 for 10.
Just a great piece of hitting there. Pitch on the outer part of the plate. You hit it the other way, and Young able to keep his barrel in the zone, working back up the middle and allow himself to hit a ball hard the other way. You know, we see a lot of swings in this new age of baseball where they're strictly poolside swings. As Gal looks to sacrifice bunt here with nobody out. It's just fun to see guys that still go up there with the approach of using the whole field, hitting the pitch where it is pitched, and taking what the pitcher gives them.
Well, bunted back 1-1 in the game this morning against Bay County. There must have been, well, there were at least 5 balls hit the opposite way, and balls that ended up dying in the shallow outfield grass, just about 10 feet away from the edge of the dirt that separated, the edge of the dirt separating that outfield grass. Goodman's play is to first.
Good bunt defense there by Johnstown. Thought Gal would maybe try to bunt the ball to the right side to force the first baseman O'Donnell to field the ball, but he bunts it right at the third baseman Goodman. On to first for the out, but the job gets done. Chinese Taipei now with Yang in scoring position.
Bryson's pitch. Down and out and swing and a miss.
Boy, how about how shallow this Johnstown outfield is playing right now?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you talk about shallow, very shallow. The whole right side of the infield open as well as the second baseman is checking in with the runner.
Strike two. Leadoff single by Young and sacrifice to second. Bouncer to first. O'Donnell, 2 outs. Young to third.
Long able to put a ball in play there with 2 strikes and advance Young over to third base. A couple feet there and that ball would have easily got through the right side, through the 4-hole. With the second baseman McAllister really shaded up the middle, checking in on the runner, Yang at second.
Now Chung Soo Chun. Runner at third, 2 down. Full windup for Bryson. Strike.
How about that? Brock Bryson goes inside to the lefty Chong there with the first pitch fastball for a strike. And really think that was the key to the game last night. For Johnstown, Drew Irons was able to pitch inside to this Chinese Taipei lineup all night long.
Base hit to center field, 2-0. New Taipei City. And the base hit in the RBI from a number 9 spot.
And another nice piece of hitting, just a simple short and quick swing with the barrel staying in the zone for a long time, and another line drive right back up the middle. And this time it produces a run for Chinese Taipei. 2 singles, a sacrifice bunt in this inning, and another run for Chinese Taipei.
Top of the order, runner going, a ball, stolen base.
Chinese Taipei just playing good baseball right now. Made the error count in the first inning for a run, a couple of singles, the sacrifice bunt, stealing bases, moving runners up. All those little fundamental things about baseball, Chinese Taipei doing right here early in the game.
Line drive, grabbed by Manzi. And that shuts down the second inning, but Chinese Taipei picks up an additional run. 2 hits in the inning, 1 left on base. Middle of the second. New Taipei City 2 and Johnstown nothing.
Even during challenging times, Community Bank has helped small businesses in the area grow and thrive. Every business has different banking needs. Community Bank will help you with your plans. Community Bank, moving your business forward by building a stronger community.
We've been in your community since 1808. We've stood by your side covering the news of the day. We've been here for the important times in your life. We've celebrated with you. We're proud to have delivered the latest in local, regional, and national news in Washington, Greene, and southern Allegheny counties. We'll be here for the next phase of your life with our print and online editions. The Observer Reporter, life delivered daily.
At Washington Honda, taking care of our customers is our top priority. Whether you shop online or on the lot, we'll deliver your new car to your front door at no extra fee. It really is all at the mall.
Not all car buying experiences are as straightforward as Washington Hyundai, but you can count on Washington Hyundai. We're here for you. The vehicle you want from the dealership you trust. It really is all at the mall.
Community Bank helped us in every way there was when we built this new restaurant. This past year has been really hard on the restaurant industry, and we would not be where we are without the support of Community Bank. Community Bank, moving my business forward by building a stronger community.
Every year we get started on a Thursday night and have the Fan Fest at Dick's Sporting Goods in Washington, Pennsylvania. And most of the teams were there, an opportunity for the players, managers, and coaches to meet one another. Bottom of the second coming your way. By the way, we had a shot there of that number 13. And that is in tribute to Parker Mulman, who died a year ago, a player in the program. Goodman, 2 for 6. Now 1 ball, 1 strike, 2-0. Chinese Taipei leads. One ball, 2 strikes.
Good fastball there away. Goodman, a good swing, but just a ball that is just off the plate. Not an easy pitch to barrel up if you're Goodman.
Strikeout number 4 for Hung, and it's 4 consecutive strikeouts.
Yeah, 4 in a row. He's really settling in here after the leadoff single by LaRocca in the first inning.
Back to get a shot of number 13. Located up on the hillside. Drew Irons, star of the game from yesterday.
I think if I was here just to take the game in, I think that's exactly where I would sit. Right up on the right field hillside.
2-0 in favor of New Taipei City. Fly ball to right. And Young went back initially, but then in of it to make the grab. 2 outs.
Number 34, Ethan Shank.
Ethan Shank will come next.
But I can't complain about our view of the game. What a great view here we have from the press box. Very close to home plate.
I am a big fan of everything about this facility. Cozy. Fastball swing and a miss. We got the press box above the Grotto dugouts. By the way, there's a back stairwell that if we need to know something, we can, during the commercial break, sneak down the back stairwell and check with a player or a manager or the umpires. And then the facilities building right behind us. A media lounge and the TV truck. Speaking of TV, Roger Lenhard and Scott Bartlett, producer, director, respectively, and 5 strikeouts now for Hung Wei Jia. And Johnstown down in order in the second after 2. Chinese Taipei 2, Johnstown nothing.
Congenital heart disease means that you're born with a heart defect. Parents ask if their child will have a normal life. That's a huge responsibility. Here at the Children's Heart Center, we use a comprehensive care model. We treat newborns all the way up to fully grown adults that were born with congenital heart disease. These kids go to elementary school, go to high school, go to college, get married, have families. The people of West Virginia deserve this level of care.
At Pathways of Southwestern Pennsylvania, we believe that every life has potential, and we're dedicated to fulfilling it. Our programs give every child the opportunity to overcome obstacles, achieve milestones, and reach their fullest early learning potential. From cutting-edge development therapies and daily medical supervision to quality early education for children of all abilities, we cater to each family's specific needs. Pathways of Southwestern Pennsylvania, your path to lifelong fulfillment.
Get your 50-50 tickets. See the Pony Princess finalists working hard all week long. Sending home lots of money. Cash is king, they tell me. Duncan is the official coffee and donut of the Pony League World Series.
2 games, 2 elimination games earlier. Chinese Taipei eliminated Bay County, Michigan. And Washington County beat Palmview. And in 1999, the Pony League World Series returned to a double elimination format after conducting the tournament Olympic style for 9 seasons. So since 1999, a team from Washington has never won 3 games and has never played more than 4 games until this year. Johnstown's deficit 2-0. Washington County is 3-1 in the tournament this year and will be playing Monterrey, Mexico in the second game tonight. Called strike 1-1 on Lynn.
Expecting just an outstanding crowd for that game. The host team in a big game.
Bryson's 1-1 pitch. Manzi. And the throw onto O'Donnell. 2 outs in the third.
Number 7.
And now Lynn. Let's see. Or Lee, rather. Lee Chung-yen standing in. And hit by a pitch.
We've seen Bryson miss in a bunch today, especially with the breaking balls, not quite getting it out in front, getting on top of it to be able to get it into the strike zone. He's lost that breaking ball arm side quite a few times tonight. And finally, one hits a Chinese Taipei hitter.
And we've had about 3 dozen hit batsmen in this tournament. And using a freezing substance.
It's pretty slick there. I wish we had that when back when I was playing. When I was playing, if you got hit by a pitch, everybody would yell, "Don't rub it." You weren't even allowed to touch it, let alone spray medicine on it.
Macho man.
Yep. At least we thought so.
And ball one.
It's amazing how Macho can ultimately, as the years pass, seem pretty ignorant. That's all life is, right? Is learning lessons.
I have a quote book, and I keep in that book famous quotes that I find inspirational. Ball fouled away. I think I'm going to add that to my quote book.
That would be an honor.
What was that again? As the years go on, Macho seems ignorant?
As the years go by, it's amazing how Macho, in reality, becomes very ignorant. So I spiced it up for you a little bit there for the quote book.
Okay. 1 ball, 1 strike. One pitch. Runner going. Fly ball into right center field. And LaRocco makes the catch. No chance for a double play because after Lee Chung-yen took off on the pitch, he realized the ball was hit in the air to right center and scooted back. And now Sun Kai-yu.
We'll see here if Lee Chung-yen will try to steal the base here on the first pitch, and if Sun Kai-yu will give him that opportunity. With 2 outs here, great time to try to be aggressive, steal a bag, and get in scoring position.
Go to first. Nope. Runner going. Left field line. And the shortstop, Manzi, angles back into the stripe to make the catch. No runs, no hits. There was a hit batsman. 1 left on base after 2.5. Chinese Taipei 2, Johnstown nothing.
Trib Live High School Sports Network is the official video and audio streaming partner of the WPIAL. We broadcast over 2,000 sporting events each year and cover 17 sports in over 170 schools. At HSSN, you'll find the latest in high school sports news, live and archive broadcasts, scores, standings, and much more. Trib Live High School Sports Network, your high school sports leader. All season, every season. The Dick's Sporting Goods Pony League World Series is presented in part by Duncan, by West Banco, by Allegheny Health Network, and by Slovenian Savings and Loan.
Bottom of the third. This right-hander. Batters face 7. First pitch strikes 5. Mr. Color Analyst, tell me about that.
That's pretty good. Not much more than that. That first pitch strike, that's what you're always striving to do, and he gets another one here to start.
So it's 6 of 8.
It's 6 of 8, yeah. If you can win in an 0-0 count, typically you win as the pitcher. That one got a pretty good piece of the catcher, Soon Kai-Hu. Wasn't that the whole concept of the Braves pitching staff in the 90s, with Leo Mazzoni as the pitching coach, and of course the names everybody knows, Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, Steve Avery, Johnny Smoltz, all those guys, is that was their number one point, is to win the 0-0 count, get strike one. Worked pretty well for that staff.
No balls, 2 strikes. Only 1 and 2. Grady Clark to follow, and then Dante LaRocco. The 2-0 lead for New Taipei City. The run scored in the top of the first, unearned. Breaking ball, strikeout number 6 for Hung Wei-ja.
Just wonder how does Chinese Taipei have so many arms, but they always do when they come here to the Pony League World Series. They have so many guys that can go out there on the mound, compete with a competitive fastball and with a wipeout breaking ball, just like the one we saw from Hung Wei-ja there to O'Donnell.
And Grady Clark, the batter, Grady's dad, a state trooper. Bugsy Roberts, the manager, owns a landscaping company, coaching first base, not third. Bugsy and his wife Monique with a couple of boys. The strike, son Ashton suffered a back injury during the regular season. Otherwise, he would have been on this team. And Dominic Canizaro, the third base coach. Dom's son, Dom, was injured during the playoffs, hit in the face with a thrown ball. His son very well could have been on the club. 2-2.
Just on a side note, Bugsy Roberts is going to captain my all-name team here for 2022 Pony League World Series. My number one favorite name of the tournament.
And now 3-2. Was it going to be a complete team that you're going to put together, or just declare one guy as the winner of the Ernie Galuski
No, I typically
all-name award?
Yeah, I mean, I try to put a full team together, but then I'll have a captain.
And Hung Wei-ja continues to roll along. He's now going through the batting order once, and he has struck out 7 of 9. Gave up the single to LaRocco in the first inning. Gave up a fly ball off the bat of Irons.
Yeah, he's been pretty untouchable here so far. Only 1 3-ball count, 1 2-ball count. He has been in complete control of the strike zone with both the fastball and the off-speed pitch, and we see there LaRocco hit the fastball for the single in the first inning, so he gets a first pitch breaker in there for a strike.
Going outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Third member of the staff for Johnstown, Jim Bryson. Works for 84 Lumber, lives in Huntington, Pennsylvania. Like Katina. Two balls and 1 strike. A lot of positive things about covering the Pony League World Series, including the fact that we get to meet all 130 players, the 10 managers, the 20 coaches. Foul ball out of play, 2-2.
You know, it really is fun. What I enjoy the most is just watching the different cultures of baseball. Like you see Chinese Taipei and how absolutely disciplined they are with everything they do, from the way they warm up to the way they play the game. Just how the different baseball cultures all come together here once a year for just an outstanding event here in Washington, Pennsylvania.
And 3-2.
It's only his second 3-ball count of the game, but it's been back-to-back hitters. He was 3-2 to Clark before striking out the Johnstown right fielder, and now has ran the count full to leadoff hitter LaRocco.
And the fly ball to right. Young makes the catch. And Hung Wei Jia has retired 9 in a row. We'll go to the 4th. Chinese Taipei 2, Johnstown nothing.
John Sisson Motors invites you to experience the next evolution of the automobile with a completely new all-electric 2022 EQS sedan from Mercedes EQ. Reserve yours today at johnsissonmercedes.com.
Now is a great time to take home a new Nissan from John Sisson Nissan. We have a great selection of new Nissans to choose from, like a 2022 Nissan Rogue or a 2022 Nissan Altima. At John Sisson Nissan, every customer is a VIP. Discover for yourself today.
Bring together expert faculty. Offer programs in high-demand fields. Add in a few centuries of tradition. You might call it the future of higher education. We're calling it Pennsylvania Western University. We've combined the resources of California, Clarion, and Edinburgh to create a new way to educate, where opportunities are boundless and tomorrow is yours to define. Built on tradition, built for your future. Welcome to Penn West.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
Little did we know that switching to Cricket was going to be a major upgrade. The 5G is like fast.
Switch for the speed, stay for the savings. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Chinese Taipei with a 2-0 lead on Johnstown as we go to the top of the 4th. I'm joined by Johnstown manager Bugsy Roberts, and Hong Wei Jia has some great stuff for Chinese Taipei. How do you break through against him now that the guys are seeing him a second time?
Well, like you said, we're the second time through. He seems like he's trying to challenge us with a fastball to start. These guys got to start getting a little aggressive. We're watching too many pitches down the middle.
Your starter, Brock Bryson, just 1 earned run allowed. What's working for him so far?
He's around the strike zone. He's making them swing. Tough break on the opening hitter there. We're going to get it back. We'll get runs for him. He's doing well.
Okay. Thanks, Bugsy.
And for the 4th inning, hitters 6, 7, and 8.
Didn't play their typical sharp style of baseball, but certainly they have been thus far today, and that including the 12-0.
And the right fielder, Young. Chinese Taipei back-to-back championships twice, 2015, 2016, 2018, 2019.
There you see Bryson start. Young out with a breaking ball for strike 1. And it's really the difference, Lanny. Unless you have an elite fastball, you have to be able to throw your off-speed pitches for strikes at any count to be able to effectively get through a lineup more than one time. And you know, we're seeing a couple of pitchers be able to do that here tonight. Guys that can throw their off-speed for strikes. Another breaking ball dropped in there, just catching the outside corner.
It was Young's base hit that led to the second run for New Taipei City in the second inning. And the strikeout. It is strikeout number 1 for Brock Bryson.
And a nice pitch there. And I think that was a changeup, Lanny. I mean, with the bottom just dropped out of it. A nice job by the catcher, Shank, to block it. Pop out of there in front of home plate, create that easy throwing lane, and delivers the perfect throw to O'Donnell at first for a big first out here for Johnstown.
And the count, 1-1 strike.
Gao looking really late on that pitch. I think it's been the approach here offensively for Chinese Taipei, and it's worked, is to really let the ball travel, try to use the opposite field and up the middle, and it's exactly how they've been able to produce both of their runs here tonight.
1-2. And looking and reminded of what you were talking about back in the second inning, the center fielder Larocco is closer to the second base umpire than he is to the warning track by considerable distance. Back-to-back strikeouts, 2 outs in the fourth.
This has been Bryson's best inning. He's really been able to throw those off-speed pitches exactly where he wants. He's got a couple of strikeouts, and you know, I credit that, the positioning, I think I credit that to the Johnstown analytical team, who I'm sure they have, but because you had talked previously about the large number of base hits. Weak roller back to Bryson on the mound, on to first, the end of the inning. But to finish my point, you'd said Chinese Taipei had really dunked just a bunch of balls in the previous game today.
Coming up the bottom of the fourth, and a 2-run lead for Chinese Taipei.
Oh yeah, been waiting for this one.
Quite impressive, the work of Hung Wei Jia. He has 7 strikeouts. He's retired 9 in a row after giving up the leadoff single to Larocco in the first.
You know, the thing is, he just hasn't missed in the middle of the plate. I mean, the breaking ball has been a wipeout pitch for him, and he has located the fastball exactly where he's wanted it all night long.
Strike one. Manzi, I mentioned his dad, Indiana County DA, and a few players from Indiana, including Austin Shaw, who his dad Justin, the chief of police in Indiana.
I tell you what, these Chinese Taipei pitchers, or pitcher Hung Wei Jia tonight, he has been getting a little bit more from the umpire than they did last night. You know, the zone was a little tighter last night. It's expanded here tonight, and he is hitting every spot.
Well, try to notch his 8th strikeout, and out in front, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ethan Shank from Indiana. One away.
Hey, why not, right? You're dominating the game with your arm. Why not throw a little mustard on it with your glove? Reaction play there. What a play. Why it's so important to get yourself in a fielding position after you deliver the pitch, right? You see a lot of these guys now, they're throwing it so hard and they're max effort and it's everything that they have, and you know they're falling off the mound in no position to be able to field their positions. But the one thing you can say about Hong Wei-Jia is mechanically he is as sound as you're going to see. I mean, just incredible control of all of his movements in his body out there on the mound, and because of that, even after he delivers the pitch, that body control allows him to make a spectacular play like you just saw.
And now Brock Bryson. And this Johnstown team, a couple of players from Altoona, Huntington area, Conemaugh, Duncansville, North Huntington in the Norwin School District, Tyrone area. Did you tell your wife you're going to move to the Johnstown area?
I haven't quite told her yet. We've discussed. I love the area, that whole area up there. Altoona, Johnstown, State College.
And catcher soon was ready to fire the ball around the infield.
Yeah, he's really sold it tonight for the third time, trying to get his pitcher that call. And once again, he's probably right. You see that view from the side, and it'd be hard to argue that Bryson didn't go.
Two outs.
Boy, what a mix Hong has working here tonight. Fastball, breaking ball mix has just been devastating. As a hitter, you have no idea what's coming. And even if you guess right, he's making a pitch right on the black of the plate or just off the plate. He hasn't made any mistakes. Johnstown's going to have to hopefully find a mistake here at some point and get something going.
And the strike called. McAllister 0 for 1 and 0 for 8 in the tournament. Speaking of tournament batting averages, let's start to Toby Torres of San Jose, while he was here, batted .600, 6 for 10. Aiden Rivette with the Bay County team that has been eliminated, batted .615. Fastball just missed. And Nico Petrakis, Washington County, is hitting .500. He has 2 3-hit games in the Pony League World Series this year and had a 3 RBI game earlier today with a 2-run homer. Yes. The call by the first base umpire on the appeal. 9 strikeouts for Hong Wei-Jia. And now it is 12 in a row retired.
One more time.
Come on, one more.
One more. Righty stance.
Yeah!
2, 1.
One more, man.
Oh, man. All right, little bro.
Want more?
Congenital heart disease means that you're born with a heart defect. Parents ask if their child will have a normal life. That's a huge responsibility. Here at the Children's Heart Center, we use a comprehensive care model. We treat newborns all the way up to fully grown adults that were born with congenital heart disease. These kids go to elementary school, go to high school, go to college, get married, have families. The people of West Virginia deserve this level of care.
The play of the game to this point, and you just saw it to lead off the bottom half of the fourth inning. Hong Wei-jia snaring the liner off the bat of Charlie Manzi. Wei-jia makes the incredible grab and holds on. 9 strikeouts for Hong Wei-jia through the first 4 innings of play as Chinese Taipei leads 2-0 in the top of the 5th.
Top of the 5th. I'm a big fan of the singer Dua Lipa, and she had a song called Blow Your Mind. Listen to this. It would be appropriate that what with the Chinese Taipei pitcher Hong already striking out 9 batters through 4 innings, the record for most strikeouts in a Pony League World Series game. You ready?
Can I guess?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 17.
20.
Wow. Only 21 outs to get in a Pony League World Series game.
Edgar Barclay of Hilo, Hawaii in 2013. And Bryson has given up 2 runs, an unearned run in the first and a run in the second. And Chung had the 2-out single that knocked in the second run. Keep in mind, this is Chung's in the number 9 spot of the batting order. If Johnstown wins this game, it will advance to the championship game coming up Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. If Chinese Taipei wins this game, there will be an extra game tomorrow. Possibly we could have 2 extra games tomorrow. 1-2 pitch fouled away with our second game of the evening doubleheader and 4th game of the day between Monterrey, Mexico and...
You missed it. There's the play of the game.
I'm sorry.
Foul
what?
ball into the bleachers. Great play made by the fan who we're seeing right now. He stands up, Lanny, and fires a missile back to the mound. Back to the pitcher on the mound. The ball that the pitcher is about to shove in there again was just in the hands of that gentleman down the third base line. I mean, a great play. He had to leave his feet, one-handed grab over the fence, moved his feet like a... They got played at some point and threw a missile back to the mound.
How do you score that double play?
And I wonder if we can get a replay, any chance to get a replay of that, because that's my play of the game. And we're getting word that that's a former Washington Wild Things professional player, shortstop, Grant Wanstan, who makes the play there.
Well, Randy Gore would know.
Yes.
Randy, the former voice of the Washington Wild Things. Well, fouled away. Our radio partners on the WJPA network, Randy Gore and Mark Uriah. Mark is the voice of the Pony League World Series.
Proud, thanks to Southwest Toyota and Washington Auto Mall.
Chinese Taipei 2 runs on 3 hits. Johnstown no runs, 1 hit and 1 error. And the catch made by O'Donnell, 2 outs.
The dominant performance tonight by Hong Wei-jia. What's gotten lost is how well that Brock Bryson has pitched in this game. He has done an excellent job here tonight. Only the 3 hits. He has allowed the 1 earned run.
Strike 1. And the 1-strike pitch. Inside corner called strike 2. Second game, Monterrey, Mexico, Washington County, Pennsylvania.
How about this, Lanny? Bryson hasn't went to a 2-ball count to a hitter since the first inning. And he has not been in a 3-ball count yet today.
And you can see his pitch total there, 61. Only 1, 2, 3 innings, so now Brock Bryson has a string going. 8 consecutive batters retired. Bottom of the 5th coming your way. 2-zip. Chinese Taipei.
Sean likes to help his teams on the field, but elbow and shoulder pain kept him on the sidelines. Treatment from AHN had him feeling like himself in a couple days. Now he's back, pitching in wherever he's needed. Getting back in the game is living proof.
Bring together expert faculty. Offer programs in high-demand fields. Add in a few centuries of tradition. You might call it the future of higher education. We're calling it Pennsylvania Western University. We've combined the resources of California, Clarion, and Edinburgh to create a new way to educate, where opportunities are boundless and tomorrow is yours to define. Built on tradition, built for your future. Welcome to Penn West.
Last half of the 5th inning, Bryce Goodman to lead off. Who needs snow?
All you need is some cardboard or a piece of paper. And
those are the Dick's Sporting Goods cards.
There. I mean, that's a good run right there.
0-1. Give me your thoughts on the Johnstown hitters' approach to Hung.
Well, it needs to change. I mean, they're going to have to take that outer part of the plate away from him. They're going to have to force him to come back inside. And that's one of the few mistakes that he's made tonight. He left that fastball out over the plate, and Goodman got around it and hit it hard foul down the third base line. But, you know, he's forced Johnstown now to, you know, they're going to have to look away and try to hit the ball away to get something going. He goes right back to it, that pitch. I mean, he has just absolutely pounded the outer part of the zone, the black of home plate, and at times off the plate. But with a great catcher like Chinese Taipei has, he's gotten the calls. Speaking of that great catcher, he took his 2nd shot of the night. That one might have got him on the shoulder. Oh, no, maybe on the head.
Mothers, don't let your sons grow up to be catchers. 13 in a row, 10 strikeouts.
He is just dealing, and you know what's coming. These hitters know what's coming. They know that he's gonna throw it away. But I think the new age pitching coaches call it tunneling. Have you heard the term tunneling?
No.
That where the fastball and the off-speed pitch or the breaker comes out of the same tunnel, so they don't pick it up till very late. So it looks like these hitters are seeing fastball, but then they're getting spin and not able to react.
Right field. Irons is going to be forced to make the wide turn and put on the brakes. And only the 2nd hit of the game for Johnstown.
When you look where it goes, too, Irons went up there looking for a fastball away, got it. Probably the hardest hit ball of the day, definitely the hardest hit ball of the day by either team. Boy, beautiful swing there, let it travel. Not much he can do with how deep the Chinese Taipei right fielder Yang was playing. Unable to stretch that into 2 bases.
He interfered with my run.
Yeah. You know, I thought that when it happened. I think Coach Robert has a case here. It
I
looked.
couldn't tell you.
They never got together. There was no obstruction. He just stopped and got back.
Yeah, the kid was standing there, but
even if there is obstruction,
he's cutting the ball off.
Right, but even if there is obstruction, it's type 2 obstruction. There's no play being made on the runner. We're not going to give him second base on type 2 obstruction.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So it's nothing. He stays where he's at.
Yeah.
There was an obstruction.
No,
Okay,
what I'm saying
Glad
is,
to
though,
see
it's
it.
type 2 obstruction. Even if there was obstruction, we cannot give him
He ain't
second
going
base.
second. His pro rules is not like high school.
Right, yeah.
You know,
We
right.
can't give, no.
Absolutely. After he's at first base.
All right.
Good call, guys. All right. He's safe.
Type 2 obstruction.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly that is, but I do think the right call was made. But that's a really tough one because you can see that Irons did slow down to avoid contact with Gao over there at first base, but Gao at the same time was doing everything he could to get out of the way of Irons. So it's one of those weird plays that happen in a baseball game. Time to get back to business here.
Shank. Johnstown beat Chinese Taipei 4-2 yesterday, but it is 2-0 in favor of the team from Chinese Taipei tonight here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
It really has just been a great pitched game by both starting pitchers here tonight. I mean, just really difficult for either offense to get anything going. Chinese Taipei takes advantage of the error in the first inning to push a run across, and then a leadoff single, a sac bunt, and a 2-out knock to get their second run in the second. But that has been it.
1 ball, 1 strike. The ball was dropped by Hung.
I do not believe he was engaged with the rubber. The second base umpire was right on it and immediately started shaking his head no. So I do not believe he had towed the rubber yet.
Runner going. Wild pitch. Second time that Johnstown has had a runner at second base.
That's just great base running right there. Drew Irons with the dirt ball read. Ooh, he may have been on the rubber. I was wrong. Maybe that call gets missed. Well, that's a big call too, because that would have put Irons at second base and then potentially at third there on the dirt ball read, where he could have moved up another 80 feet. That's so big. I know, you know, my coaching career at all levels, offensively, one of our main goals was try to get base runners to third with less than 2 outs, because you have a high percentage of scoring, and you know, that ball call would have put a runner at third here with only 1 out.
How many 3-ball counts for Hung?
Only 2, and it was back-to-back hitters way back in the 3rd inning. Grady Clark, the 9-hitter.
Well, that's right. You did mention that.
Yeah, he ran that count 3-2. Eventually got the strikeout, and then a 3-2 count to LaRocco. Eventually got the hard line out to right field. Only 2 3-ball counts here today, and now 3. The 3-ball count to Shank.
2-0 Chinese Taipei. 3-2.
There's that outer half fastball again. Shank doesn't like the call, but whether you like it or not at this point, it has been called a strike all day long. It really falls on the adjustment of the Johnstown hitters at this point. Well, I know as a hitter how frustrating it is where guys, you know, command is this good, and as a right-handed hitter, the angle that the right-handed pitcher is creating, the ball just seems so far away from you. Regardless of how close you get to the plate, regardless if you're looking away, if you're telling yourself to stay back, let the barrel ride to the opposite field, it still is just very difficult when a pitcher has this type of command.
And for the record, note that Johnstown has only right-handed batters. Opposite way, blooped into right field. Around third is Irons, the relay. Johnstown scores a run on the single by Shank. That's a 2-1 ball game.
Well, I tell you what, a couple of opposite field hits here in this inning produces a run for Johnstown, but another defensive mishap by Chinese Taipei. You just see how long it took for that relay to develop and the aggressive coaching there to send Irons, and it ends up working out. But I mean, Taipei did not handle that very well defensively. A really delayed, kind of lackadaisical effort by the right fielder. He slipped. He was able to get back up and make the play, but then multiple steps. It took time to get it back in. The relay throw comes to the second baseman when it should be the first baseman getting in the relay position. And they just really spent a lot of time to get that ball back in the infield, almost like they thought there was no way Irons was going to try to score.
Courtesy runner Alex McCartney. Now O'Donnell. Time called. By the way, going back and recreating or referring to what's transpired in this inning, the question about was there obstruction? The umpire said no. And then the question about whether there should have been a balk because the ball was dropped. The umpire said no, but turns out it didn't matter.
Didn't matter. Both calls went Chinese Taipei's way. And I didn't think he balked either, but you know, you look at the replay and he absolutely did. He was engaged with the rubber, dropped the ball, got away with it, but like you said, it didn't really matter. It works out for Johnstown here as they've cut this lead in half, and tying run on base now with the go-ahead run at the plate.
Here we go.
Home plate umpire Fran Wadley.
Johnstown has 3 hits tonight. As you mentioned, all right-handed hitters. So no left-handed hitters in this lineup to neutralize that glove side fastball and breaking ball of Hong. But the first base hit up the middle, the next 2 the opposite field. Looks like maybe Johnstown has made that adjustment. This is just going to be almost impossible to score off Hong if you have that pull side approach as a right-handed hitter.
Strike one. Not only are there no right-handed batters in the lineup, there are no right-handed batters on the Johnstown roster. And speaking of Alex McCartney at first base in the fastest runner competition the other day, he finished second. Ball hit the opposite way. Caught. And quickly getting back McCartney, 2 outs.
That's a great play in right field by Gong Wen Wei. That ball drops, I think Johnstown ties the game because a great job of base running there by Shank at first base, or the pinch runner at first base.
By McCartney.
Yeah, I mean, he had expanded all the way almost to second base. If that ball drops, he's going to have some momentum and probably scores. Great job of base running, though. He expanded that lead as far as he could, had bellied up to the play, and once the catch was made, was able to get back to first base.
2-1 ball game. New Taipei City leading. Clark. And a strike called.
I think you got to take a chance here and steal the bag, don't you? With 2 outs, try to get that tying run into scoring position.
The negative here is that if you get thrown out, you've got your number 9 hitter leading off.
Yep, I agree with you, but I would take that chance. Get a good runner at first base, force Taipei to make a play.
Not a very good lead.
He's really jumping around out there trying to distract Hong, which I think if there's one team that you're gonna have a hard time distracting, it's Chinese Taipei, right? I think you try to expand that lead and Try to swipe second base here, even though Sun throws very well in the catcher position.
Runner going.
They're going to call him out.
Interference on the batter, and the inning is over.
And that is a good call. Clark's swing brought him out over top of the plate in front of home plate and definitely hindered the ability of Sun to be able to throw to second. Good call.
2-1. Chinese Taipei leads Johnstown.
To everyone still crushing it when it's this hot. To those making it happen in the heat. And especially to those who have to wear long sleeves right now. We've got a Dunkin' iced just for you.
Taking care of our customers is our #1 priority at South Hills Toyota. Whether you come into our showroom to shop or buy through our express store online, the vehicle you want from the dealership you trust, it really is all at the mall.
Not all car buying experiences are as straightforward as Washington Hyundai, but you can count on Washington Hyundai. We're here for you. The vehicle you want from the dealership you trust. It really is all at the mall.
To everyone still crushing it when it's this hot. To those making it happen in the heat. And especially to those who have to wear long sleeves right now. We've got a Dunkin' iced just for you.
The Dick's Sporting Goods Pony League World Series is presented in part by Community Bank, by Marthinson and Salvetti Insurance Group, and by Pathways of Southwestern Pennsylvania. Well, everyone deserves, if he or she chooses to feel the bat in his or her hands, hear the crack of the bat, run the bases, and touch home plate. Pony Baseball seeks to share the experience of baseball with every person. Pony Baseball proud to host a gathering of special kids and offer to them the realization of a dream. That was the inspirational event of Saturday morning this past weekend. Strike called on Lee. Condoble's 2 strikes for Brock Bryson. His Tuesday night report card, 5 innings. He's allowed 2 runs, 1 earned, 3 hits. Has 3 strikeouts, 4 strikeouts, and has not walked a batter.
No, and
he did hit a batter.
I made a mistake last inning. I don't believe he's been in a 3-ball count the entire game, Lanny. A couple of 2-ball counts in the first inning. That's really been it. When you talk about being efficient, a lot of strikes from this big right-hander. If my chart is correct, he has thrown 10 consecutive strikes. 3 consecutive strikes to Chong in the 9-hole, 2 strikes to Hong in the leadoff spot, and then the strikeout on 3 pitches to Lin to end.
And the 0-2 pitch. They sit into left center field.
First time Chinese Taipei has had their leadoff hitter on since the 2nd inning. They got their leadoff hitter on in the 1st. He came around to score. Leadoff hitter on in the 2nd, came around to score, and they have not scored since.
How about bunting your number 4 hitter? Would Chinese Taipei do that?
Absolutely.
Not too many teams would.
Well, might not be a popular thing that I'm about to say, but you know what kind of teams do? Teams that have won 4 consecutive Pony League World Series titles.
Well, bunting the number 4 hitter falls into play with their style of play.
Yeah, this is not a powerful Chinese Taipei team. I mean, just look at, we've seen the outfield positioning by Johnstown all night. This is a small ball type of offense. I know they hit a home run earlier today in the game, but this is not a team that's going to leave the yard a bunch. They have to manufacture runs like we've seen them do early in the game here. See the disappointment there from Shi Chong-hu, the cleanup hitter, knowing that he hasn't got his job done. And you use the word expect in the pregame, and I think that is a great word to define Chinese Taipei. They're expected to get their job done, and we'll see if he will be asked to do that again with 2 strikes here. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's asked to bunt with 2 strikes.
Runner going, ball bounced to Manzi, the shortstop. 1 out as she went into first base head first.
It really slowed him down. You're taught that it's definitely slower to slide into first base than it is to run through it. Now, guys like to slide. They think it's a hustle play. Really, the only time you should slide is if you see the first baseman's foot leave the bag, and then you're really trying to avoid a tag at that point. But we saw him slide there and actually get stuck. I mean, it stopped him. It limited him from getting to first base.
Now soon, 2-1, Chinese Taipei leads. We're in the 6th inning of what is scheduled to be a 7-inning ball game. And second baseman McAllister handles the 2nd out of the inning.
And an out, consecutive outs on pitches and ground ball outs in the middle infield, but Chinese Taipei has been able to advance the runner Lee from first to third here with 2 outs. It puts a lot into play here. Now you can score on a pass ball, wild pitch, error in the infield, and obviously any type of base hit.
Following up with what Ernie said earlier, Shi, 2-out single in the first, knocked in a run. Chung, 2-out single in the 2nd inning, knocked in a run. Nine ground ball outs for Brock Bryson. Ball gets away, but Lee stays at third. Young Wen Wei, 5 for 11 in the tournament. 2 hits, including the home run, had 4 RBIs in the game this morning in the 12-0 game-shortened win over Bay County.
Really surprised there that Lee didn't try to score. I don't know if he didn't get a good read, didn't see it in time, and didn't trust it, but that's a ball typically, especially with 2 outs, and you want to be aggressive to home plate. Surprised he didn't take the chance there.
2-1. A 10th ground ball out offered up by Brock Bryson.
They're going to call it a foul ball. They're going to say it was a foul ball off the foot of Young, and Coach Bugsy Roberts has been tough on the umpires the last couple days. We might get a real taste of it right now. Actually, maybe I think it did hit his foot. I think it hit the dirt and barely got the toe of that right spike. Yep. It's a really good call.
So let's reset. Runner at third, 2 outs. McAllister scored 4-3. And there is your 10th ground ball out, induced by Bryson. After 5.5, Chinese Taipei 2, Johnstown 1.
George, we're all back in the office. You need to come back in too.
Yeah? No.
You can't even get your webcam right. You have to come back in.
Why should I? Washington Financial Bank's digital features make it even easier to bank anywhere.
Washington Financial Bank is adding more digital features. Log in to live chats, mortgage pre-qualification, and easy access to many features via QR codes.
Are we done here? It's almost happy hour and the hot tub is calling.
John Sisson Motors invites you to experience the next evolution of the automobile with a completely new all-electric 2022 EQS sedan from Mercedes EQ. Reserve yours today at johnsissonmercedes.com.
Now is a great time to take home a new Nissan from John Sisson Nissan. We have a great selection of new Nissans to choose from, like a 2022 Nissan Rogue or a 2022 Nissan Altima. At John Sisson Nissan, every customer is a VIP. Discover for yourself today.
The Dick's Sporting Goods Pony League World Series is presented in part by Appalachia Energy Partners, a specialized logistics company seeking CDL Class A drivers. Call 724-514-6593. By Lighthouse Electric, integrators of electrical solutions. And by Defy Security, cybersecurity experts who put customers back where they belong, first. I wonder if President George Washington ever thought about the fact that someday, even though he was denied a chance to live in the White House, that someday he would, that an actor would play him in a bank TV commercial.
I'm not sure that he knew it, but I'm sure it was a lifelong dream of his. And you feel bad that it
lead the American Revolution, General George Washington, and then become the first president, the father of our country. Bugsy coming down to have a quick chat with the home plate umpire. In the top of the batting order, this would appear to be the set up for Johnstown to tie it up or maybe take the lead now that it's LaRocco. And you heard Bugsy earlier tell Joe that they were about to embark on a second trip of the lineup against this talented right-hander from Chinese Taipei. Now they're ready for the third trip through.
Third time through, and LaRocco is the one guy that has had success. The single in the first inning with 2 strikes, and then 6-pitch at bat and a very hard hit line drive out to right field to end the third.
That falls behind 0-2.
You're right where you want to be, right top of the lineup here. You have 6 outs left to work with in the game. You're at the top of your lineup.
Now 1-2. Hung has struck out 10. Top play behind him in the game. The catch by Young in right field on the ball that O'Donnell hit. Rocco was on his way to the dugout by the time the home plate umpire went up with the right hand.
Yeah, and again, it's that same location, right? It's that same location. Breaker really jumps out of his hand up and just has that downward tilt, finds the zone. Man, what a battery this is with Hong on the mound and Soon behind home plate. And they have just been flawless here tonight.
We're going to see your favorite catcher in the second game.
Uh-oh.
Fly ball left center field. Tie game. Charlie Manzi homers to deep left center field, tied at 2.
Talk about getting a pitch in an 0-0 count. Ambushes one of the few mistakes that Hong has made today, and that one was way out of here, and no doubt about it, to left center field. What a big swing for Johnstown. Tie game, bottom of the 6th, and it is getting really interesting here.
The 10th home run of this year's World Series. Please return the home run ball to the press box.
That ball's hit, Lanny. That ball's way out.
You can take your game ticket to Cricket Wireless Walking Store now.
And the principal beneficiary of the home run is about to step in. Conference at the mound. Well, against New Taipei City in the upset win yesterday, Manzi was 2 for 3 with a single and a double. Pitching change. So 11 strikeouts for the Chinese Taipei right-hander Hong Wei-Jia. Throwing a good fastball, spotting that sharp breaking ball. Didn't walk a batter. At one point of the game, in a string of 13 batters consecutively retired.
Yeah, he was truly unbelievable here tonight. Just makes the one mistake there to Manzi, who just climbs all over a first pitch fastball that he left up in the zone and out over the plate. But man, was he able to locate the fastball today on that outside part of the plate to this lineup full of right-handed hitters. He could locate it up, he could locate it down off the plate, and then the breaking ball was just absolutely wipeout style here tonight. Johnstown finally breaks through and gets that one big swing. Hits a ball out of the ballpark, ties this game.
And so on the mound now is Yang Wen-wei, moving from right field to the mound. And the starting pitcher, well, Meng, by the way, moved from third to right field.
Hong Wei-Jia. To third base, number 3, Lin Jin Hong. To right field, number
Lin moves
12,
to third.
Meng Liao Xiaojin. And now pitching, number 1, Yang Wen-wei.
Yeah, we had a clean card, Lanny. We had a clean card after the dirty card last night with all the scratching. Now it's getting confusing again. Who do we have at shortstop?
I believe that the pitcher Hong Wei-Jia went to short. Well, we've now, during this tournament, we've had 10 home runs hit total,
That is number 18,
and
Brock
7
Tracy.
hit by players from Pennsylvania.
That isn't a slogan. I don't know what is. I'd run on that message.
And here's Bryson. Down on strikes twice in the game, once swinging, once looking.
I think the slogan would be, vote Pennsylvania, we hit dingers.
Would that fit on the license plate?
I would check that ballot box.
2-2 game in the bottom of the 6th. And the count 1-1. Well, 2 balls and a strike.
The crowd really starting to get big here with Washington on deck, playing the late game tonight.
Two 1 pitch. Now 3-1.
Just off the plate, but the catcher soon really wanted that one, really held it there for a long time. Made sure the umpire not only looked at it, but took a second look at it. Was off the plate.
Did you have, when you were coaching young catchers, did you have a signal from them as to when they thought a pitch was missed by the umpire?
Yes. Yeah, they would signal to me, and I trusted them. Honestly,
give me an idea. What would you tell them to tap their wrist, or
they would kind of just drop their head real quick? And then I would come back. You're not allowed to argue balls and strikes. It's supposed to be an automatic ejection. So, and my catchers knew this, but I would yell at my catcher and be like, "You have to set up on the plate." Now they knew what I was getting across, so they didn't take it the wrong way.
And Bryson looks at strike 3.
Second baseman, number 29.
Yeah, so that was my way to kind of get away with it. I would say he's doing his job and hitting his spots, and you're setting up off the plate. And of course the umpires knew, but it's kind of one of those loopholes where you can't necessarily eject me for talking to one of my players.
Now McAllister. Twelve total strikeouts, and the 2 pitchers from Chinese Taipei, they've spread the strikeouts evenly among the 9 spots in the order, with the exception of the number 6 batting position. One.
Here's the thing, Soon really thinks that's a strike. I mean, it's been called a strike for most of the night. But we talked about it yesterday that these Chinese Taipei catchers, they set up off the plate. See, he gets that pitch right there. I mean, you look at his right foot, Lanny. I mean, his right foot is outside the inside line of the left-handed batter's box. I mean, his glove at no point is set up in the strike zone. And with the accuracy of these Taipei pitchers, and they're hitting their spots, and you watch where the glove is, I mean, it's in the left-handed batter's box here. Never even comes back to home plate. But some people may disagree with me, but I do believe that in youth baseball, and I consider this youth baseball, you got to call strikes. I mean, it's not the big leagues. Reward pitchers for pitching and hitting spots.
Foul tip, strike 3. The inning is over, but Johnstown gets even on the home run by Charlie Manzi. Solo shot. Moving on to the 7th inning.
People who come to cricket stay with cricket.
Little did we know that switching to cricket was going to be a major upgrade. The 5G is like fast.
Switch for the speed, stay for the savings. Smile, you're on cricket.
At Pathways of Southwestern Pennsylvania, we believe that every life has potential, and we're dedicated to fulfilling it. Our programs give every child the opportunity to overcome obstacles, achieve milestones, and reach their fullest early learning potential. From cutting-edge development therapies and daily medical supervision to quality early education for children of all abilities, we cater to each family's specific needs. Pathways of Southwestern Pennsylvania, your path to lifelong fulfillment.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
Little did we know that switching to Cricket was going to be a major upgrade. The 5G is like fast.
Switch for the speed, stay for the savings. Smile, you're on Cricket.
We've got a 2-2 ball game going to the 7th inning, a game that is scheduled to go 7. And keep in mind that if Johnstown wins, it plays in the championship game tomorrow. If Chinese Taipei wins, the need for the extra game, Chinese Taipei played 2 games today. Chinese Taipei needs to play 2 games tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or that they want to play 2 games tomorrow. That means they're in the championship game. To get there, needing to win this, beat Johnstown again tomorrow. But let us not get too far ahead of ourselves. Pond leading off as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. And Brock Bryson, he's only at 76 pitches.
He's been outstanding. That's what happens when you don't strike everybody out. You get some quick outs, and you don't go to a single 3-ball count in the game. I mean, we're in the 7th inning, and he hasn't been in a 3-ball count, and he's only been in 3 2-ball counts.
And still offering up a pretty good fastball.
He's
and
really
considering the talk about, I mean, consider that if Johnstown were to lose this game, they'd have to wish for 2 games tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so Bryson carrying the load tonight.
He tried to dial it up there, tried to throw his best fastball of the night. You know, the fastball, I mean, it's not dominant, but it's pretty good. And he's proved that tonight, that he's pitched with location and he's pitched to contact. His defense has made almost every play, and you know, just a pitching clinic out there tonight by the right-hander Brock Bryson.
And 1 away. Brock's dad, Jim, celebrating a birthday today. Be a great birthday gift.
Yeah, I would think so. If Johnstown can find a way to throw a 0 up here in the top of the 7th and scratch one across and walk it off in the bottom of the 7th, I think Brock's dad would probably tell you it'd be his best birthday ever.
Long 0 for 2. Well, Chinese Taipei are running the first. It was unearned. Running the second. It was 2-0 from the 2nd inning until the bottom of the 5th, when Johnstown got on the board with the Ethan Shank base hit that knocked in irons, and then the home run by Manzi, solo shot in the 6th. And you were up to date. 1-1.
Fatigue, you think, for Chinese Taipei a little bit? Played earlier in the day. As the bats have just looked a little bit slow here today.
Morocco is playing so shallow, I think I was looking to see if he was going to try to feel that ground ball.
Yeah, the scouting report, they've done their work. The outfielder's extremely shallow, daring this Chinese Taipei offense to hit it over their heads, and they have not been able to do that a single time here with 2 outs in the 7th inning.
Ground ball outs for Brock Bryson. We're going to the bottom of the 7th inning. And a 2-2 ball game at the Pony League World Series.
Jumpstart the season with a bit of fresh air. Whether you like to walk, run, hike, bike, or boat, you'll find that Washington County is connected by trails. Plan a day on one of the nation's outstanding rail trails with a trip on the Montour, Panhandle, or National Pike Trail. Grab a paddle and navigate the scenic Mon River and surrounding small-town charm. We'll see you at the trailhead. Plan your trip today at washcotrails.com.
Community Bank helped us in every way there was when we built this new restaurant. This past year has been really hard on the restaurant industry, and we would not be where we are without the support of Community Bank. Community Bank, moving my business forward by building a stronger community.
Even during challenging times, Community Bank has helped small businesses in the area grow and thrive. Every business has different banking needs. Community Bank will help you with your plans. Community Bank, moving your business forward by building a stronger community.
Time now to rock and roll. Bottom of the 7th inning, 2-2 ball game. Ernie has alluded to clean scorecard. And from the standpoint of walks, spanking clean. There has not been a walk in this game.
There has not been a walk, and just the lone hit by pitch by Bryson. He hit the 3-hitter Lee Chong-yin in the 3rd inning. Did not end up hurting him, but only 1 free base issued by a pitcher here today. Pretty impressive considering we're in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, Goodman has struck out twice. Irons, who homered against Johnstown yesterday in the on-deck circle.
We had a good hack at it there, and you'd think the middle of this lineup is due. How about this stat, Laney? The middle of this Johnstown lineup today, 3, 4, 5 hitters, currently 0 for 8 with 8 strikeouts. Breaking ball in the dirt there takes it to a 2-1 count.
And Fran Waddley had that ball hit off him. So now it's the time for Soon, the catcher, to check on the man in blue behind home plate, as Fran has done a couple of times for Soon. Three and one.
First walk of the game is knocking on the door right now, as Eric McAllister is warming up in the Johnstown bullpen.
Full count. 7th inning, 2-2 ball game.
I just have that feeling right now. Goodman's taking a couple really good swings here off of Yang. Yang makes a mistake out over the plate. You just feel that Goodman is poised to do something pretty special here. He has been on the fastball, fouled a couple of pitches off, but timing was there, the bat speed was there. He may have got that pitch. Elevated fastball there, and he just misses it and fouls it straight back. You can see Coach Robert, he knew it. He knew that was a pitch to hit.
Second baseman Gao. Safe!
How about it? How about the hustle by Goodman to get up the line and beat the throw out from the second baseman. Leadoff runner on, winning runner on to start the bottom of the 7th here.
Left fielder number 9, Drew Irons.
Goodman 5'10", 205 pounds.
Boy, that was a close one at first. Boy, tough decision here. I mean, 999 times out of 1,000, I would sacrifice bunt in this situation.
Ooh, I didn't see the first replay.
Yeah, I tried to play it off a little bit.
Yeah, that's an out.
Yeah, really caught a break there. I mean, really caught a break.
You're going to talk. I'm going to go and tell you that I would not bunt here.
That's what. But I'm thinking.
That was where you're going?
Yeah, Irons has had such a good tournament. And the guy that swung the bat so well that you know, he may be your best hitter in the lineup. LaRocco has had a nice couple of days against Chinese Taipei, but you know, I'm not sure that you want to take the bat out of his hands right now. But you also have Shank on deck, who singled and drove in a run in his last plate appearance.
Let's remember that we're gathered here to watch young people.
You know what?
play baseball.
I would be battling myself as a coach right now, but I think I would just make it simple and be like, the right play here is to sacrifice bunt and move that winning run into scoring position.
And keep in mind that Irons is in the 7th or in the 6th spot of the order.
Okay, if you bunt at the third base, you probably get on. The third baseman closing a little bit of distance right now, but still 80 feet from home plate. Oh, it answers that question, Lanny.
Well, at least on the first pitch.
Yeah.
Remember, Irons, when he hit his home run against Johnstown, it was to the right field foul pole.
And he was on that. Johnstown's taking some good swings. They're on the fastball here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Young coming on in relief in the 6th. 2-2, bottom of the 7th inning. Chased a bad pitch there.
Yeah, you can't blame him. It's a big moment. He saw fastball a little bit too far up to catch up to, but I like the aggression. I don't think, especially in this situation, you want to be able to control your pace and control your breathing, but at the same time, you want guys to be aggressive in the moment. I think Irons is as confident as any hitter on the Johnstown team right now. Boy, how about that, Lanny? Maybe the first time all day that a Taipei pitcher has come inside. Totally caught Irons off guard.
Hey, you're thinking after the fastballs come with the breaking ball away.
And that pitch was in. So I always say the game evens itself out. Probably a call that went Johnstown's way at first base. on the ground ball by Goodwin, but then a call that doesn't go Johnstown's way with the strikeout of Irons.
And Shank takes ball one on a pitch in and quickly looks back at the umpire after the inside strike on Irons, the previous at batter.
Back-to-back pitches there, trying to go inside. Johnstown hitters are probably thinking that Taipei's throwing at them because they've had a steady diet of 6 innings worth of nothing but pitches away.
Two, seventh inning. Shank, RBI single in the 5th, accounting for the first run of the game for Johnstown. One and one the count. With a win tonight, Johnstown does not have to pass go. Goes straight to the championship game.
Boy, what an accomplishment that would be. There's still the outside chance here, Lanny. I mean, it is possible that we could have an all Pennsylvania championship game.
For that to happen, Washington County would need to win tonight in the second game of the evening and force the game tomorrow. Two and one.
And I know Yang is a new pitcher, but I guess I'm even caught off guard that all of a sudden they're pitching inside. It looks like these Johnstown hitters have gotten closer to the plate as the game has went along.
That pitch away. Two balls, two strikes, one out. 2-2 the score. In.
Oh, wow.
Strike 3.
Boy, tough call there. A couple of back-to-back tough calls for strikeouts against Johnstown.
Number 23, Liam O'Donnell.
Two out. Liam O'Donnell hit a ball to right field. Fine play made by then right fielder Young, who is now on the mound. And 1-1.
O'Donnell just late on that fastball. It was left up and in the middle of the zone.
Runner at first, Bryce Goodman. 2-1. Goodman led off the inning with a base hit, but Young struck out the next two batters.
Keeps climbing a ladder with that fastball, and he's getting swings. If I was a Johnstown hitter right now, I would have no idea what to look for. Is it going to be fastball up? Is it going to be fastball in? Is it going to be breaker away? This is when the pitcher really has the advantage, when you have no idea what's coming.
Runner going on 2-2.
I like that. Try to make something happen. Not a 3-2 count, but a 2-2 count. Try to make something happen. In case it's a ball in the dirt, a breaker in the dirt, you move into scoring position.
Runner going. Called strike 3. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on base. We're going to play extra innings. 15 strikeouts for Chinese Taipei pitchers tonight. Well, Friday night we had a clean bracket sheet, but to this point we have filled in all of the slots with the exception of, well, maybe 2, but maybe 6, depending on whether there is a need for extra games or an extra game, extra innings. The Chinese Taipei playing its second game of the day. Its first game today went 5 innings and a 12-0 win over Bay County. Bryson at 84 pitches. The limit is 95.
Pitching into the 8th on 85 pitches. Pretty impressive.
And different styles from the 2 teams. Bryson relying on ground balls, and the Chinese Taipei pitchers notching strikeouts. Leadoff single. Well, Lin Jinhong, who's striding to the plate now. After this leadoff single, Lin had 3 sacrifice bunts in the first 3 innings of the game against Bay County.
Definitely a bunt coming. For Johnstown, you have to handle the bunt here. You have to get an out. It's not the situation you want to be in with the leadoff hitter singling, but have to be able to record that out here, find a way to get an out on the bunt.
Oh, trouble here. Trouble indeed. Second baseman McAllister was covering second.
And you wonder where the breakdown was there. Was it a bunt defense that maybe I'm not familiar with, where the second baseman wasn't going to cover first, but you knew it was trouble when the first baseman, O'Donnell, closed in to field the bunt, and there's nobody there at first base to cover. And you can bet, even though the 3 hitters up, that Lee is going to be sacrifice bunting here, and once again putting pressure on the defense. And Johnstown's first baseman's got to come in, Lanny. I mean, he's playing behind the runner.
Ball dropped by Goodman. Safe at third. The middle runner was late getting to second base.
Wow, unbelievable. I mean, a bad bunt there. I mean, just a poorly executed bunt by Lee. Goodman comes in, has a great opportunity to make a play, loses his feet, leaves his feet, and just can't quite hang on. And it puts the base runners in a tough situation.
We know that, right? We're not getting calls. We have to shut him down.
Well, the leadoff single, then the bunt single, and then another bunt single.
Yeah.
As I said, part of that play was the middle runner, Lynn, was real tardy getting to second base.
And Hong Wei Jia, looks like he injured himself there, sliding into third. You talk about things just not going Johnstown's way here in the top of the 8th inning. I mean, a seeing eye single.
We've got someone thrown out of the game. That's Bugsy.
Kind of figured
26, Bugsy has been tossed. You heard him say to his teammates, we're not getting the calls.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. I mean, we did see Johnstown got a giant call there in the bottom of the 7th with the safe call at first base, and you just tell Bugsy, just an emotional guy. He knew at some point he had been pretty animated the last couple of days. You know, and that's what great baseball games are going to do. It's going to pull out the competitiveness in you, and you know, finally got the best of him. We'll see here what happened with Hong at third base. Real late slide onto his knees.
Well, there were 2 calls at third base.
I mean, there's been a lot of bang-bang calls in the game, and
well, the 2 calls, one was by the shortstop, one by the umpire.
This is one of these situations where, you know, as a baseball player, an impressionable baseball player at 13, 14 years old, what an opportunity to just to teach it. You got to continue to play the game, right? I mean, you're not going to have control over out, safe, ball, strike. It's just out of your control. It's not always going to go your way. That's the reality of the game, and that reality is never going to change. The ball's not going to bounce your way all the time. The calls aren't going to go your way, and you know, the guys that eventually end up playing this game and getting paid to do it are the ones that can handle that adversity and that day-to-day reality that baseball is a game of failure and a game that doesn't always go your way. The guys that handle that the best are the guys that play the longest.
Home plate umpire checking with the rules committee, which is the committee is sequestered in a booth to our left.
Hanson crossbars, please.
Bases loaded, nobody out, 2-2 in the 8th inning. And the infield for Johnstown has to play in. Number 4 hitter, She, 1 for 3 in the game. Could possibly be the last batter for Brock Bryson.
Potentially will, and I think that's what they're trying to do here. I think She's probably going to try to see some pitches to get Bryson to that pitch limit so they can get into the Johnstown bullpen.
Two-0.
And I think that's the purpose here. He's showing bunt just to distract Bryson, and Johnstown on their heels here, in a rough situation, but we saw they're disappointed with some calls, and Chinese Taipei trying to exploit that right now.
Three and 0.
And Lanny?
Yes.
First 3-ball count of the day for Brock Bryson comes to the 4th hitter he faces in the 8th inning.
And we have not had a walk in this game. Wouldn't that be something if it's a bases loaded walk? Nope, not here, not now anyways. 3 and 1. So the decisions are in the hands of Dominic Canizaro and Jim Bryson. 3 and 2.
Well, showed bunt again there, just straight taking, trying to find ball 4. And almost feels like a little bit of momentum switch here for Johnstown. Bryson able to battle back, fell behind 3-0 with the go-ahead run at third base with the bases loaded, and able to drive 2 strikes into the zone on back-to-back pitches to fall back into this count.
Bases loaded walk. And New Taipei City has the lead, 3-2. Hung scores. Lin to third, Lee to second. Now Canizaro out. Pitching change has to be made.
Boy, baseball can be a cruel game, can it, Lanny? As well as Brock Bryson pitched today. And you talk about just stellar command, no 3-ball counts, pitches all the way into the 8th inning. And he will exit after his first walk of the game that forces home the go-ahead run.
Well, he went to the mound about 5:47, exactly at 5:47. Unfortunately, the first play of the game was an error, and that blossomed into New Taipei City's first run. With a lot of ground ball outs thrown by Bryson. And Bryson gets credit for 7+ innings. 4th time in this tournament that a pitcher has worked into the 7th inning. We've had a complete game in this tournament. Jackson Jenkins, a couple of other pitchers that worked into the 7th, and in the case of Brock Bryson, pitching into the 8th. And Bryson gives up 7 hits, but a couple of bunt singles. All 7 hits are singles. 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit batsman. Waiting for the changes to be announced.
Well, the new pitcher, McAllister, has really inherited a jam here. Bases loaded, nobody out.
And I know that Austin Shaw came into the game. It is Shaw playing second base. McAllister moving from second to the mound.
Number 3, Austin Shaw, in the 4th spot in the lineup.
Bases loaded, 3-2. And a hit batsman off the shoulder, and it's now 4-2. Nobody out in the inning.
If you're Johnstown, you gotta stop the bleeding here at some point if you want to have any chance of getting back in this game in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Turned his back to the pitch and caught it on what initially was the back shoulder of his batting stance.
There's that spray. I have to get my hands on some of that spray. I got to figure out what that is. I think if I ask nicely, they'll give me a can.
Maybe it's liquid Bengay.
I don't know. If Chinese Taipei does win this game and advances on until tomorrow for the rematch, I want you to try to get me some of that when you interview the players or coaches or the translator. I just want to know what it is.
For you, Ernie Galuski, anything.
I appreciate it.
2-0. Johnstown upset Chinese Taipei 4-2 yesterday. Tonight, Chinese Taipei leads 4-2. 2 balls and a strike. Base hit, bunt, base hit, bunt, base hit, walk, run number 3, hit batsman, run number 4. Nobody out in the top of the 8th inning. And 2-2.
Looks like McAllister maybe found the release point here after 3 consecutive balls, and the hit by pitch, he's able to throw back-to-back strikes.
And McAllister in relief was the winning pitcher against Hagerstown on Saturday and picked up the save in the win over New Taipei City yesterday. Swing and a miss.
He made
One
a good
out.
pitch there, Lanny. Is that a curveball or a changeup? Whatever it was, completely fooled Young. Just a straight changeup there. Floats it in there, gets the swing, and it's a giant strikeout for not only McAllister, but this Johnstown team, just to kind of reverse that momentum a little bit.
Gao 0 for 2, or no, rather 0 for 1 in the game. His bunt base hit in the second set up Chinese Taipei's second run.
Here's
bases loaded, 1 out.
As a coach here, I would love to have a pickoff play, a verbal to second base, just try to steal an out there at second base. So that's Shi Young Hu at second, and I really think LaRocco is closer to second base than the base runner is. LaRocco being the center fielder here for Johnstown.
3-1. Gao, the 7th batter of the inning. Johnstown will be starting with its number 9 batter in the bottom of the 8th inning. 3-2.
Gao chased ball 4 out of the zone there. RBI ball 4. He chases the fastball up and out of the zone.
4-2 Chinese Taipei leads. There is ball 4. 5-2 in favor of New Taipei City.
Lanny, fundamental baseball here is really hurt Johnstown in this inning. Not able to handle consecutive bunts. You could see it coming after that, after it's just how the momentum shifts.
Strike called.
Start to play with that little bit of doubt and on your heels. That's why the bunt still, in my opinion, is such a great play. It puts pressure on the defense.
Remember, in this inning, you had the bunt hit of Lynn when second base was left unprotected.
The first base, yeah.
First base, because the second baseman was over covering second. And then you had the bunt that was initially looked like Goodman was going to make the catch on the fly, and the ball popped away from him. Well, you make those 2 plays.
And you know, the bunt that the Goodwin almost makes at third, there's potential to double up a runner if he catches it in the air. Boy, what a shift that would have been in the inning.
The saddest words of tongue and pen are what could have been.
Yeah, but what an opportunity. What an opportunity to teach young baseball players about the reality of this game. I mean, you can see it on the faces of Johnstown right now. I mean, they're obviously very disappointed with the way this inning has went. And I'm not saying they're not competing, but they're not competing at the same confident level that they were for the first 7 innings.
Oh my gosh, 4 more pitches out of the strike zone, and another bases loaded walk makes it 6-2, 1 out, and pitching change coming here. McAllister facing 4 batters and retiring 1. And Brady Gartner is the new pitcher.
And now if you're Johnstown, I think thought process number 1 is, what are we going to do about pitching tomorrow, right? You got to bounce back tomorrow, and you got to play a game with the same stakes that you played tonight, which is a trip to the championship game.
Joseph, what do you got for us?
Well, to kind of reset this top of the 8th inning in which Chinese Taipei has scored 4 runs to take a 6-2 lead, and it's been done largely, as you guys have talked about, with a lot of small ball. Hong Wei-za leads off with a single, then a bunt base hit from Li Jinghong. Li Cheng-yun then with another bunt base hit, so the first 3 batters reach a bases-loaded walk to Shi Cheng-yu. That gives a 3-2 lead to Chinese Taipei, and then a hit batsman to follow that. After a strikeout, back-to-back walks, and 4 runs have crossed for New Taipei City as they've taken a 6-2 lead and still batting here in the top of the 8th.
Top of the 8th. 1 out. Gardner in, and you know, all of us in baseball at different times in our lives have enjoyed reading box scores. And if you read the box score on this game, you look and saw Brock Bryson 7+ innings, 6 runs, 5 earned.
Definitely doesn't tell the true story, does it?
A question about the armband.
Probably, I think that's actually just wrist tape. They're going to make him take it off. Maybe a wrist. Nope, it's just that wrist tape. I think as a hitter, I would be way less distracted by the wrist tape than the WWF wrestling eye black that a lot of the kids wear these days.
Washington County against Monterrey, Mexico, the second game of our twin bill double feature. Ball 1 infield. Shortstop Manzi up 2/3 of the way. Shaw at double play depth. One and one.
This is the 9th hitter Chinese Taipei has sent to the plate here in this extra 8th inning. Still only 1 out for Johnstown.
Base hit into right field. Soon scores. 7-2.
The ball just put in play by Chinese Taipei. Not hit hard, a seeing eye single.
You know, the base hit driving in Soon, moving Gao to third, Meng to second. Only 1 out. And New Taipei City has batted around. Whooped out to Shaw. And there's out number 2.
Did anybody call the infield fly?
Yeah, home plate umpire did.
I did see it. None of the base umpires didn't. Home plate umpire made the call.
You know, Lin is 1 for 4.
Number 3, Lin Jin-hong.
(7-2). Manzi, the shortstop, fires the strike to end the inning, but from Johnstown's standpoint, a vile top of the 8th inning. 5 runs scored by Chinese Taipei. Go to the bottom of the 8th. Last call for Johnstown tonight.
Oh yeah. Been waiting for this one.
Sean likes to help his teams on the field, but elbow and shoulder pain kept him on the sidelines. Treatment from AHN had him feeling like himself in a couple days. Now he's back, pitching in wherever he's needed. Getting back in the game is living proof.
Last of the 8th inning, 9-1-2 for Johnstown. If Chinese Taipei holds on and wins, there will be an extra game. And then the championship game Wednesday night at 7 o'clock.
I think we have some investigating going on here by the umpires. Just trying to catch a little bit of what they were talking about, and I think they've spotted Coach Roberts in the bleachers or stands somewhere, and they believe he's trying to communicate with his coaching staff, and they're asking for what the protocol is if he has to completely leave the ballpark, or if he's able to be just outside the fence and continue to communicate with his coaches.
Over the years, there have been a lot of major league stories about managers sitting in the tunnel. Didn't Bobby Valentine one time come back into the dugout in a disguise?
Well, I think the Bobby Valentine one takes the cake, right? Where he snuck back in the dugout with the fake mustache.
Well, when you're playing on Broadway,
you better be an actor, right?
Last half of the 8th inning, and we were making the comment, Randy and Gore and I were making the comment earlier that it seemed to us right from the beginning of the game this morning that Chinese Taipei, after not playing a fundamentally sound game and losing to Johnstown yesterday, seemed to have reestablished themselves for the game against Bay County, Michigan. Grady Clark takes a strike. He's 0 for 2.
I mean, Lanny, there's a big difference between a giant difference between expecting to win and hoping to win. And the reality is, when Chinese Taipei comes here, they expect to win. They, you know, not winning's not acceptable for Chinese Taipei.
And there's the first out of the 8th inning. I grew up as a Yankees fan, 50s and 60s, and reading all I could about the Yankees. That was what sports writers were saying all the time. That the Yankees went out, they felt they were the best of baseball and expected to win.
You know, again, there's nothing wrong with hoping to win. You know, Johnstown, a team that you know has been here to the Pony League World Series a bunch, and they've never you know, advanced to the championship game. So I mean, they're hoping to win, where Chinese Taipei has earned the right to expect to win.
LaRocco, 1 for 3.
Have you watched any of the Derek Jeter documentary?
I have not.
It is excellent. And it goes right back to what we were talking about, just to hear him in his own words say how expected it was to win when he was a Yankee.
No balls, 2 strikes.
But you also hear him talk about how he wishes he would have enjoyed it more. Because being the captain of the Yankees, you're expected to win, and then when you do, all you can think about is what's next? What do I have to do this again?
You know, I was telling you earlier that I have a quote book because I'm inspired by the abilities of so many men and women to put words together that touch a core. And I read once that Vin Scully was speaking at an all-star game, and he was saying to the players in the room, it is a short period of time between all-star games and old-timers games.
So true.
And savor every moment in between. I guess that's an appropriate story to tell. Here we are, almost 2 weeks away from the death of, 1 week away from the death of Vin Scully.
Yeah.
The poet laureate of baseball. Well, this was one whale of a ball game through 7 innings. Foul ball, 1-2.
Boy, LaRocco takes a good swing. This is a guy that, remember that name, he's going to hit. And he's going to hit for a while, and he's going to hit at a higher level. Gets the barrel through the zone. There's bat speed there, but the path, I just love the path. It seems like the barrel of that bat never leaves the strike zone.
Count 2 balls, 2 strikes for Dante. He is from the Altoona area. Foul ball. The starting pitcher, excuse me, go ahead, Ernie.
Yeah, it gets that one off the fist, able to drive that fastball inside, but LaRocco strong enough to get jammed and still not get out. He's still able to get through it enough to foul it off and earn himself another pitch in this at-bat.
And don't lose sight of the fact that part of the story today, the pitching of Hong Wei-ja, 5 1/3 innings, did give up 2 runs, but didn't walk a batter, struck out 11.
Yeah, he was outstanding. Add him to the list of another outstanding pitching performance here in the Pony League World Series. We have seen quite a few.
Jackson Jenkins of Bay County, Drew Irons of this Johnstown team. Sebastian Solsky of Washington County. Sebastian earlier today pitched into the 7th inning. Did not give up an earned run. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Two pitch. That time called. And LaRocco 1 for 3 in the game and 4 for 11 in the tournament. Homered in the first inning of the game yesterday against New Taipei City. Full count.
Longest inning of the tournament so far, you think, of any game?
Oh, I don't know.
11 hitters to the plate.
We had those long 5-run innings, and then followed by another long half inning in that Hagerstown Johnstown game. And ball 4. So we go 7 innings with not a walk being issued by either side, and And now here in the 8th inning.
Saved them all for the 8th.
We've seen 4.
A lot of walks here in the 8th inning. A game that was just flying by. And this goes to show you how much cleaner and more fun to watch the baseball game is when the pitcher is throwing strikes.
And a strike called on Charlie Manzi. Homered in the 6th inning to tie the game at 2. And Manzi 3 for 6 against Chinese Taipei with a single, double, and home run. And the strike called. Now the 6th inning of that Hagerstown-Johnstown game that went 8 innings. 10. There were 21 batters in that inning. What was that?
I think it was it looks like a football with wings that the kids are throwing around out there. Ended up on the field. And it's going to end up back on the field, I bet, at some point.
0-2 pitch. Strike 3, 2 outs.
Good pitches there. 3 in a row for the strikeout here for Yang.
And now Brock Bryson.
For Johnstown, re-entering the game.
Re-entering.
Number 18, Brock Bryson.
It's now 17 strikeouts in the game for Johnstown. He's made a total of 23 outs to this point. 17 of those strikeouts.
Well, Bryson trying to salvage something from his evening offensively. (7-2). New Taipei City leads. One ball and one strike. Now 2-1. So here's the story in the game. Chinese Taipei are running the first, running the second. Running the first that Chinese Taipei scored was unearned. 2-0 ball game until Johnstown picked up a run in the 5th and the Manzi home run with nobody on in the 6th inning. 2-2 game through 7. And then the 5-run top of the 8th inning for Chinese Taipei. 5 runs on 3 hits. Of the 3 hits, 2 were bunt singles. There were 3 walks issued in the inning and a hit batsman. 2 of the runs batted in, quote unquote, were bases loaded walks. And the hit batsman led to a run, bases loaded hit batsman.
Really some missed opportunities for Johnstown too. You go back to that bottom of the 7th inning. In a 2-2 game, Johnstown, the home team, they got their leadoff hitter on when Goodman got the infield single, but then 3 consecutive strikeouts to end the 7th.
Base hit to right field. Bryson goes the opposite way. LaRocca to third. Relay to the plate. Safe. And now it's 7-3. That's interesting. A single, and LaRocca able to score all the way from first.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy there. And I like to see the replay here. I thought LaRocca was out at home plate. Thought the umpires were doing him a favor there, so they didn't end the game. Down 4 with the last out at the plate. Ooh, we can't tell from that angle, but great play by the catcher soon to pick that ball and make the tag. We're going to get a good look at it here. What a play by the catcher. I'm just going to say the umpire was in the way, and I can't tell if he was out or safe. How about that?
Ball 1 on McAllister, who's 0 for 3.
Ticket number 667083. 667083.
1 ball, 1 strike. 7-3, 8th inning.
Going back to what has worked all night long, that fastball away. Down in the zone, on the outer half of the plate or just off the plate. Been the go-to all night long.
2-1. No decisions. And no decision for the starting pitcher of Chinese Taipei. And Brock Bryson's going to be handed the loss. Fly ball, right field. And Chinese Taipei has forced the extra game. Hong Wei-Zai, 11 strikeouts, comes away with a no decision, but pitched so well to push this game into extra innings. So we'll be sliding into game number 2. Washington County against Monterrey, Mexico. Chinese Taipei and Johnstown will have a third meeting